Skull. My
Skull.
voice is absolutely shot, but we're
Skull.
gonna
Who could
get
have seen
through
this
this.
coming? Who could have seen this coming? Skull.
Welcome in to the Skolcial Network, where your Minnesota Vikings are undefeated and the
Want to
Green
know?
Bay Packers are winless.
Leading the division, by the way. Stop the count.
Well, we're technically tied.
No, we're not.
Oh,
We did.
because we beat an NFC team. Ha ha
So
ha
true.
ha.
So true. This intro is
Yeah.
already way better than last time we tried to record.
Yes. Oh, no. What are you talking about? We didn't
Oh,
totally
sorry.
record 10 minutes of a show before your internet crapped out and then had
My
to
bad.
restart.
Yeah, I don't know what I was
Yeah.
talking
And
about.
even if we did, we would not give the audience a peek behind the curtain of depravity that
Yeah,
went on.
that was
But
crazy. That's like saying Kirk Cousins could have gone to a team with a bunch of underutilized weapons and would have elevated it a ton and beat the Steelers today and totally would have not crapped himself in the bright lights. But
and got get outplayed by Justin Fields. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
oh wait.
16 for 26, 155, a touchdown and 2 interceptions is very much in line with the 2018 Bears performance that would have sent us to the playoffs.
Kirk, I'm on my knees. Come back, Kirk. I'm on my knees. Don't choose Atlanta. Please come home. This totally isn't an overreaction, and he's totally not going to be fine.
Wow, let Kwesi cook, am I right?
Ah, Sam the man.
Sam
Let
Darnold, what a stud. I mean, like in a purely statistic sense, like not the most like over the top insane performance. 19 for 24, started off 12 for 12, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception that was really just Dexter Lawrence making a good play.
that interception makes me upset.
Why?
I just don't like it being there.
Yeah,
I want.
especially because I mean, obviously it counts as an interception, but like that was just Dexter Lawrence making a good play. I think that would have
Yeah.
been. I don't know who he was actually trying to throw it to. I know Sheffield had a chance to go up and get it. And then
Sherfield,
just
you
kind
don't
of
know
still.
ball.
Sherfield. Sorry. What?
Sorry.
I quit. I'm done.
Bye. Kirk
But
Cousins. Blood.
haha. I I called the Sam Darnold 99-yard drive before it happened. You want receipts? Go on Twitter. I called that we were going to get a turnover before it happened. I did not know it would be a direct pick six from like the 10-yard line. Go on Twitter. There's receipts. I made it happen. Um, my kid is like smacking mega blocks together. I know you probably can't hear it, but
I heard it for a second. I think.
great, awesome,
Dudes rock. That's fine.
dude. He just keeps like handing us blocks and just staring at us until we build him something, and then he'll grab it and just throw it at the TV stand.
No, it's kind of like Jared Goff.
Ha 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 ha. Anyways, unit, individual player, coach, whoever, who is your standout performer or performance of the game?
My king, Kevin O'Connell, and not that I thought he was a bad play caller going into this game, but I think we can all agree that there always seemed to be that play or two in games in the last couple years where you just scratch your head and you ask yourself or you ask Kevin what he's doing, and there were none of those today. The play calling was very top to bottom efficient. There wasn't really a bad play call put on the field that from what I saw and what I remember, and I'm the all knowing. Um, I just Kevin O'Connell, he had Sam Darnold prepared. Run game looked good. We don't have the best interior offensive line, and that showed through very well in pass pro. But run game wise, I thought the blocking was there. There were some wide holes, some big old holes you can just pound, some big holes you can just ram through.
Hey, these are the jokes. These
These
are
are
the
yeah.
jokes that get
Sorry,
us angry comments.
I'd like to apologize to that one guy. He doesn't like funny jokes or something.
I don't think he likes you. He's gone after even like normal like now
That's
videos
fine.
with
I'm
you. He
I'm
just
completely understanding of that. Like I
he's your
am
biggest
genuinely.
fan.
I might be a little bit of an unlikable person, and that's fine. And I
No,
understand that.
you're a teddy bear.
Yeah, I know. And I know that's the guy that said something about I think I know more than the listeners or something, but let me be quite clear. I do. So thanks for pointing that out. Like we know. We know. But shout out
I
Kevin
know
O'Connell.
nothing. I look, I'm the guy on the show who knows nothing and just tweets random shit and hopes it stick. I have no other legitimacy. I'll
Yeah.
fully admit.
And I know ball.
You do know ball, and we'll talk
Um,
about that in a minute,
Somewhat.
because you predicted the Giants' defensive line would not be very good, even with Dexter Lawrence at stopping the run. I still take it as since Dexter Lawrence is as good as he is, I still think that what we saw in the running game is promising. Because again, even if their line as a whole isn't that great, like Dexter Lawrence, especially against our interior O line, we, I mean, I think early on in the game, Ed Ingram just got manhandled by Lawrence, and I was like, well, this is going to be. I threw out the hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby meme. I thought this was going to be a long day, and we figured it out. Aaron Jones finished with 94 yards. Average, oh my God. I didn't even realize his average yards a carry.
What is it?
6.7.
Huh.
Yeah. I
If only
only had
I
14
had
carries.
somebody point that out to me earlier this week in a tweet that got 0 likes.
Oh, wow. Um, yeah, I'm excited about Aaron Jones. I didn't I was excited, but I didn't it was hard for me to allow myself to get overly excited about a running back his age with his injury history leaving the Packers and coming to the Vikings just because we've seen how that, has happened with similar types of moves in the past. Not necessarily a running back, but I'm very, very happy and I'm super excited for him because I know he's on a mission to prove a lot to himself and the rest of the league and
Yeah.
Green Bay, especially.
And I listen, I know I have to toe a line here because of that one viewer that might get a little bit upset. And that I really don't want to sound racist here. Trust me.
What?
Walk with me.
I
Aaron
hesitantly.
Jones with the long hair and the number 33 and the arm tape. I think he was wearing arm tape today. The running style, I was getting flashbacks to 2019. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I don't think that
Dalvin
I
Cook. I
think I
know.
think you overly
Yeah,
set yourself up.
you have to be careful with this
Okay.
certain.
Well, anyways, thank you for that. Thank you for
Please
digging
don't
that hole.
please don't
Um
stop us, Dustin, please.
my personal speaking of some same commenter insinuating like, we don't know what we're talking about. We did say pretty vehemently on Friday that we do think the defense, we disagree with some, and we understand people having debate on Twitter, stuff like that, in comments of videos. Um, but that the defense is actually better than it was last year, and that losing somebody as good as Daniel Hunter, but replacing him and Wanham with such a good unit, Kwesi, that was probably the best series of moves Kwesi has ever made. Um, and it showed today. Grenard, I don't think Grenard had, like, did he even have a sack? He had a lot. He's not even showing on this list. But Grenard, I know, had a lot of pressure. He was definitely making impact plays. Cashman, I think, had 4 tackles, and then Van Giegel 2 tackles, a sack, and that interception, that pick six. Those
So
are those 3 guys we all signed over the course of like 48 hours.
Quasi acquisitions are cooking a little
And
bit.
Dallas Turner 3 tackles and his first career sack. So I
Okay.
think for me that defensive unit really showed up. I'm glad, and this was before Harry's interception, which man, so a lot of people are going back and forth on Twitter on the farewell tour, and a lot of people are saying he's not done. Well, this may be his last year. It may be his last year in purple. None of us want that to be the case. But it was great to see. But the safeties weren't really having to do much. Like Cam Bynum, extremely quiet, which in the context of this game is exactly what you want. He had 2 tackles, but you don't like if your safeties are having to do a ton, it means that people are getting past your corners and your line. And even the announcers pointed out, which I was like, yeah, you know what? I haven't actually thought of those guys today
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah. It was nice to see.
Byron Murphy with a really big game as well.
Byron Murphy was
8 tackles.
fantastic.
I think having the help he now has at the other corner spots, even though those guys, Shaq and uh, Gilmore aren't necessarily in their prime physically. I think their mental strength for the game really helps a lot. Just because they know where to be and what to do, and that's going to take a lot of pressure off of Murphy and let him
Yeah.
do what he does best.
And they really only had one above average performer in their receiving core. And I know a lot of that has to do with Daniel Jones being not good. But like and that one person's Malik Neighbors. But like a receiver like Malik Neighbors, he's going to get his.
Oh yeah, and I kept thinking back to the videos of him getting drafted and touring the facility, and you could just tell he was like, "Oh no."
Yeah.
Yeah. Jones
Chris.
missed. Jones had a lot of. I'm not gonna say that we left a lot of their receivers open, but there were a lot of plays. Pardon me, that he should have hit. That they were just complete misses.
What can you do? Well, you can pay Daniel Jones $160 million, but what can you do?
Ed Donatel with the biggest troll move of all time.
And then we make them pay Daniel Jones $160 million. Then we spin the block and beat them by 22 points, and have Daniel Jones just have an absolutely horrendous day. Long term storytelling, haha, hee hee, haha, bing bong, or whatever New York people say.
I'm trying to look up when our largest margin of victory was recently.
I think the Chargers game from 2019.
So it's been about 5 years
It's been a while.
since we've won a game by what, 22, right? Like that. Again, like you don't have to. It's the Giants. Let's pump our brakes. Like
Hmm.
yes, but like honestly, no, none of us would have been surprised going in today if we lost a nail biter or
Yeah,
anything like that. Like no one knew what to truly expect. Unless you were me and Brev and you called it, but hey, whatever. But like having guys like Patrick Jones had 2 sacks. Like these guys really step up and letting Brian Flores put together his ideal defense and having Kwesi trust what he wants and actually execute on getting that talent. Um, and then Sam Darnold just having a career resurgence type game. Again, it's the Giants, but he looked really good.
real good. It was nice.
Started 12 for 12.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else.
That throw to Jefferson on the sideline. The 44-yard throw. Eesh.
I think even more than that, the play that I loved was the touchdown. Because how many times have we
Yeah.
been, it was 4th and 2, I think from the 5. Because I know they were talking about how we could have picked up the first without scoring. But how many times in those situations did we just want Kirk just to rip a bullet to Jefferson at the goal line? And
Hmm.
like the big knock on Jefferson is that historically he hasn't been a great red zone receiver, not because he doesn't have the skill set, but because he didn't get a lot of targets there.
He's like Julio
Um,
Jones from back in the day, where he would get all the yards, he just wouldn't get that many touchdowns.
yeah, and Darnold just absolutely rips without any hesitation a direct bullet. Yes, he manscaped the defender.
So true.
Um, but just straight there and like I think the thing about Darnold is he's talented enough skill wise, but has had enough ups and downs in his career where he's going into this situation fully trusting Kevin O'Connell and fully buying into what he wants to do. Kirk had a lot of growth under KOC, but he was well established. He had his do's and don'ts, like his parameters of how he would or would not play. But then you had guys like Dobbs or Mullins who would fully trust in what KOC wanted to do, maybe, but they weren't as talented as Sam Darnold is naturally.
Yeah, and Darnold has no choice but to. And I know it sounds duh,
Well, he doesn't.
but Darnold has no choice but to trust Kevin O'Connell, not just because he's the quarterback of the Vikings, but if he wants to continue to be in the National Football League, like he has to buy in and perform well under his system. Because
Yeah.
coaches around the NFL do respect Kevin O'Connell. Breaking news. So if there's a quarterback that can operate his offense well enough, and where where the NFL has been and still is going offensively, then Darnold with a good year this year buys himself another 6 or 7 years in the NFL
Yeah, I think I don't know about 6 or 7. I think at least another 3 or 4,
as a backup.
um, maybe. I mean, he could. We'll have to see next week.
Yeah.
And we'll kind of start wrapping up with. I don't necessarily. We'll talk about specific predictions later this week. I'll be in Minnesota calling in, and we'll do our Friday show. But how are you feeling about next week's game in general compared to maybe how you were feeling about it yesterday?
Not that much different, to be honest. I still think because I predicted the win when we did our predictions, but I didn't predict a 22-point victory. Obviously, I predicted like a 3-point victory, I think. So I still predicted a loss against San Fran, but I don't feel. I guess I feel differently in the fact that like maybe I know what to expect a little more, and I've just been reassured that Sam Darnold can operate the offense at some level, even though they just played the Giants. But if Minnesota can beat San Fran next week,
We're having a much different conversation about this team.
yeah, the reaction to when you asked me how I'm feeling about playing Houston the next week and going on from that changes a little bit.
Yeah. I agree. I would have put it at probably like an 80% loss next week. Right now, with the momentum from this weekend, with it being a home game coming off a pleasantly dominant victory, I'd put it at about 60 to 65% that San Fran wins. Um, but still, that's like a 15 to 20% swing. Um, I think the biggest thing wasn't just that we won. And again, like we're fully admitting the Giants are a trash team right now. Like
Mhm.
we're not saying this was some, but you look at like the Patriots beating the Bengals. Like the NFL still has a lot of parity in any given week.
Yeah. Well,
And what?
just sorry to interrupt, but not to think about all the times, and not just to pick on Kirk Cousins, but during the Kirk Cousins era where we played bad teams and we didn't blow them out.
Or we
The,
lost even.
yeah, the common thing is like you played a bad team, you should have blown them out. We shouldn't have blown out the Giants.
Yeah.
We're not this NFC playoff contender right now, at least, or people don't project that. So we didn't just beat a team by one score like we're so used to when we win. We blew the doors off a team. So I think it might be a little different. Like, yeah, we
Yeah.
played the Giants, but we blew them out, and that's what we should do.
The difference is, and going back to your thing earlier, not only with play calling on offense, especially, but with the defense, is it was fundamentally consistent, sound football. Is there was a game plan from start to finish that was consistently executed at a high level.
Yeah.
And I know Darnold had the interception that wasn't on him. That was a really good play by Lawrence. But the defensive game plan, because like what we've seen is like ups and downs, and this even goes back to the Zimmer era, where like the team would look really good for a couple drives or a quarter or even a half and then just go to hell in a handbasket. And that started to look like it could have happened, and it almost did with the clock management there at the end of the third, beginning of the fourth, whenever that was. But the rhythm and flow of both sides of the ball is probably even more so than the score today why I've had such a dramatic swing and thinking the Vikings have more of a chance than most people are going to give them next week.
So true.
Well, with that, uh, I'm excited. I'm gonna go finish packing. Head out to Minnesota at 6 a.m. tomorrow. But Brev and I will be back on Friday. Brev, you're making, I believe, not to spoil anything, but either tonight or I think tonight, an appearance on the main Vikes Now show with additional post game thoughts.
So true. Dustin and I will be doing post game reaction as well. We didn't. We usually do shows on Saturday nights, but we just kind of didn't talk about it this week. So I guess that's what tonight is. And also, we didn't even announce that we're going 2 times a week now on here. By the
We
way,
did. We
we did.
foreshadowed. We did.
Oh,
Little
okay.
foreshadow.
Sorry, I'm
Um, yeah,
stupid.
next week it probably won't be Sunday that we do our post mortem on the game because I'll be at the game and traveling back, but it'll probably be Monday afternoon. So either Sundays directly after the game or sometime Monday evening. You guys will hear from us on our post game thoughts. But we appreciate you guys. Go out, celebrate, uh, have a Mick Golden or a Line and Kugels or whatever Midwest beer you have readily available. We'll see you guys here in a few days. Skull Vikes, undefeated, baby.
Skull. Skull.